Alright, welcome to part B. This is the following day, and we're continuing on with sculpting the Carrion crawler. Cool, spins. Okay, so I have mixed together a huge amount of Sculpey that way more than I need, but I just wanted to get rid of some of my remaining stock of the stuff, and I like the convenience of having a pre-kneaded amount that I can just use. So I'm going to start off by taking off a chunk, and one of the things with Sculpey is that it requires a significant amount of hand strength. I remember I had a picture of me posted a while ago on Facebook where I was holding up all three of the D&D books. It was like a Dungeon Master's Guide, Player's Handbook, and Monster Manual in one hand, sort of holding them up. And after a lifetime of sculpting, you end up with, and also working in a steel warehouse for a while. Yeah, I have very strong hands. I'm not a small guy, and I have a lot of gripping and crushing strength from all of this kneading and sculpting throughout my life. So yeah, you end up just getting a lot of strength that way. So it's good. Okay, so I've torn off a chunk. And what I'm going to be aiming to do is build up segments of the body, kind of wideish segments of the body, like a maggot, right? And because you can see all of the body, there is kind of like a structure here already where the tinfoil is crinkled sort of naturally as I bent it. So I'm going to follow those natural contours because it will look like an underlying structure and make a more organic sense to the viewer. They'll look at it and think this thing has some sort of internal architecture, guts and organs and things. It doesn't have to be very thick, again paper thin sort of things, because it's already got bulk. I'm not adding a lot of bulk to it, I'm adding detail. And I'm just using a lot of experience here to gauge how long this needs to be. So I'm working it out as I go. You can see I'm figuring the length of it, so it can go all the way around the body. And I'm not starting at the very end, I'm starting right in the middle, so I can go from there. So I've joined those two together, and I'm just going to blend them with my fingertips. Use my little sculpting tool for the very end bits, and just drag it across to smooth it out. Sculpey adheres very well to itself, and its rigidity allows it to retain features very well. And because I'm using a sort of a medium hardness, it's not going to contort enough to bother me as I'm working with it. So I'm going to leave that pretty much as is, just a rough band around the outside, like so, and make another one. So this next one's going to be a bit thinner, and it's going to go around the bottom there. So I'm going to try the tail a little bit first, and I'm going to be poking holes in the bottom there so it gets these little spidery legs coming out, little black legs that sort of look like they're, yeah, it's just sort of loosely holding on to the goo at the bottom here, and little legs are going to be sticking out the ends, like you see in quite a few illustrations of the carrion crawler. It's got like little caterpillar legs holding onto the bottom, like little spiny insect legs. So not quite as long, because the segment of that, the section of that body there is not as wide, not as thick. And you can stretch it a bit as you go as well. See it's a bit more. So this takes some time as I go, and I don't want to bore you overly much with this video taking a very, very long period of time, because this is probably going to take me hours. And also I like to watch videos and stuff as I do this, because a lot of the handwork of making it the right size and everything I basically do without looking at it, just by feel. Just using my sculpting tool there to keep these segments separated. Now, some of you may ask, hey AJ, why don't you just put a big layer around the entire thing and then separate it with the tool by pushing into it? Well, the trick is, upon pushing on it, see how it's sort of loose, a little bit loose there? I can make it bulge out more, just sort of naturally. And it just makes it easier to do it that way. As I go down these end bits here, I'm going to make the segments thinner and thinner. And I might add a little bit more detail onto that bit there. And when I get up to the top bit here, I'm going to add the features like the socket and stuff where the eyes are going to go in. And I'm thinking I'm going to have more than 2 eyes to give it an more alien look to it, like a monstrous insect. But you'll see that more as I get into that detail. So I'm just going to pause now, and I'll come back to you in a while when I've got something better to show you. I just wanted to add a little thought there that with insects, caterpillars and things like that, they don't breathe through their mouths per se, they breathe through little vents on the side. So I'm going to be adding these little spiracles along the side of the body as well, just for that added organic reality and complexity, little breathing vents along the side of the body. So that's extra detail that I've got the luxury of adding in because I can continue working this stuff until it bakes.